Professor Sheffer. Professor Sheffer is the leading authority on the International Criminal Court. We will work with them to do whatever we can within our power to free the North Korean refugees. Basically, in a banner campaign, we are asking for just three things. China, please give refugee status to the North Korean refugees within your borders. 2, stop the repatriation back into North Korea. 3, please allow them to exit to a third country of their choice, willing and able to accept them. At this time, United States is willing to accept thousands of them. I heard it directly from Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Department of State. South Korea will accept unlimited amount. And also, we have pastors from every state in the United States who will be here today for the West Swan Rally. We will get the message back to their home state. We will talk to our congressmen. We will talk to our senators. We will talk to our mayors and everyone around. We will work with Christians. We will work with Jews. We will work with Catholics and anyone who has a heart in this. And we will free our North Korean refugees. Today, Pastor Isaac is here, and earlier you heard from Dr. Morton Helfrin. I remember in a statement back in July of 2005 where Pastor Isaac stated, "Morton, I think this is the first time that you and I sat here on the same table." And that's true. We have liberals and conservatives working together for this cause. We have Jews and Christians working together. And we will get the job done, and we will not sit or rest or leave until it is done. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Michael Horowitz from the Hudson Institute, Senior Fellow. And Mike, we do have a rally at 12 o'clock, so I would like to just ask you to please keep your comments to 10 minutes or less. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. This is a very moving experience for me. People use the term breakthrough in history an awful lot. Here is one case where I think it merited. I believe books will be written about the freedom of North Korea, and I believe that this session and the KCC leadership will be major chapters, maybe the first chapter in that book. And I say it for the reasons that others have made clear. The Korean American community is more powerful, more influential than most Koreans understand. The Washington political system sees your young people going to schools, your businessmen succeeding, and it knows that the Korean American community is going to be a powerful influence in American life in the 21st century. And when the Korean American community speaks out, as it will, in this campaign, with signs in front of churches, with visits to senators and congressmen, the political system will listen and respond. And there is history here. When the American Jewish community said, the Soviet Union is not letting Jews escape, people said, you can't ask the Soviet Union to let Jews leave freely, because the power of the Soviet Union is based on its ability to build walls around all the people there. They'll never agree to that. And yet when the American people spoke out, when the Jewish community led, everyone followed. President Reagan did not like the so-called Jackson-Vanik movement to free the Jews of the Soviet Union because he thought it would make trouble with the Soviet Union. But in the end, he had no choice, because we are a country of immigrants. And when immigrant groups in America call on the rest of their fellow citizens and say, my people in my home country are being persecuted, America must respond. America responds. And it doesn't matter what the politicians think. Politicians respond and follow to movements of that kind. And that was the first step in creating a world where we now speak of a former Soviet Union. It was the same when blacks said the apartheid regime is evil, must be stopped. And the Reagan administration said, oh, let's just work with them. This will be too upsetting. This is not what our priority in foreign policy should be. Once again, when the American black community spoke out and said, look at what's happening to the people in apartheid South Africa, the rest of the country followed, and like it or not, the Congress and the President signed legislation that led to what we now know is the former apartheid regime. The same will be true if you lead us. We are ready. Richard Cizik and Mort Halpern, as Sam said, who agree on many things but disagree probably on more things, are at one, ready to follow the leadership of the Korean American community. If this is the signature issue, if the Korean American community makes clear the American political system that the loyalty of Korean voters will the losses are. And if China understands that the choice is between improved relations with the United States or Kim Jong-il will not have long to survive. The regime will not have long to survive. One of the things I know in speaking to Chinese is nobody understands the evils of this regime in many ways more than the Chinese, because they lived under the Cultural Revolution. They saw what lunatic leadership meant to people. Their parents, in many cases, were sent to camps and murdered during the Cultural Revolution, and they know what the Kim Jong-ils do. The problem is we haven't made it a high price for China. We haven't forced China to choose, and with your leadership, we will force that.
And I will be reading that on his behalf.